doing, guys? So it's been a while again. It's been a very frustrating couple of months for the car enthusiasts here in Ireland due to the strict, very strict lockdowns. We basically can't do anything. But given the circumstances, I wanted to do a 5 years ownership review of my STi, and I wanted to do a very traceable, very accurate running costs of my car in the past 3 years. I didn't do the 5 years because for the first years I didn't track things as accurately as I do now, but I just wanted to show you guys how much I've spent. I will not be including the insurance for each year and the tax, the motor tax here in Ireland, because depending on where you're watching this from, it could be quite different. But to give you an overview of the costs, here you can see on this image, it's been over 3,600 euros for the past 3 years. I think that's very reasonable. I go to tracks multiple times a year. I do road trips to the continent, so I think all in all it's very reasonable. But for motor tax, because this is a 2-liter car, I pay 710 euros yearly on tax. Okay. For insurance, obviously as the years goes by, I actually get cheaper insurance, but for the last year, for this year, I'm actually paying around 800 euros. Back in the days, I was paying 1,800 euros on insurance for this car. But yes, so you can calculate whatever you pay for insurance and road tax in your country or state, wherever you live, and you can add to these running costs. So the good thing, why I wanted to share this, because given the fact that I go to track days and I do plenty of car events throughout the regular years without the pandemic, it's reasonable. You could put this a lot lower if you're not going to track your car, if you're going to really just enjoy driving it day by day. But yeah, I wanted to share the running costs first, but I also wanted to talk about I mean, what I love about this car and what I've enjoyed the most so far. Absolute love all the experience that I've had with this car over the 5 years. You can see here in the images the first picture I ever took of it when I had it in my driveway. I've gone to multiple track days, absolutely enjoyed it. Many road trips, actually. The longest road trip of my life I've done in this car shortly after my daughter was born. And you can see we went from Ireland to France, and we drove all across France. We went to Andorra, and then we went to Barcelona, and then we crossed all the way to Porto. We went to Spain again, back to Portugal, Algarve, and then back to Ireland. An unforgettable trip. As you can see here, we stopped in so many beautiful places that I definitely had to get some pictures of. You can see here, I'm going to the Nürburgring as well. I've gone two times I should say, but I've gone to Germany more, and not always to the ring. I should have done that now that there's a pandemic. Can't wait to be able to travel again and go on the road. You can see a picture of on the Autobahn going quite fast, and track days at Mondello as well. So as you can see, overall reasonable to run, a lot of fun. Things that I love still: performance, the sound, the fact that this car is related to a World Rally Championship. I'm absolutely a fan of WRC. What it delivers for the money, for the amount that I bought this car for a few years back. As you can see, cars are going quite expensive. I don't think this specific car went too high in price, but a lot of cars are holding their value quite nicely. So yeah, performance, the way it looks, I absolutely love it. Sound, running costs, I like it. Now, still, things that I don't like: fuel consumption on this car is still insane. I can never get used to it. I'll never get used to it. You just look at it and I'm like, oh my god, I did 180 miles on a tank. it's a constant thing. Another thing is, because it's an all-wheel drive all the time, sometimes it feels like you have the handbrakes on, because when you drive a front-wheel drive car like the Cupra. So it does feel a little bit odd when you let the foot off, or you're in neutral and you want it to roll more freely, but you feel the all-wheel drive system dragging it down. Those are minor things, nothing really to complain about. But yeah, fuel consumption is a major thing with this car. But again, at the same time, I own this car. I bought this car not to save on fuel. If I did, I would buy a Prius or a Toyota Aygo or something like that. Really, not a whole lot to complain. Being a 17-year-old car, the paint, it's starting to fade in a few locations. You're starting to see a little bit of bubble, especially on the scoop. I've noticed a few areas where the paint is coming off. I guess as well as from all the pebbles, whatever, on the road as well. A little bit of rust starting to show stronger on the edges of the car. Nothing to panic yet, and it does not justify me to get the car to get it completely painted. Not at this point yet, but if it does get to a level, I will get the whole car resprayed. I've owned this for over 5 years. I have no intention whatsoever of selling this. I think this is a true keeper for what I paid. I don't think I can get one of these anymore with the service history that I have, the maintenance that I have. So it's a no-brainer. Hopefully things don't change dramatically to worse, but if things remain as is, or if they get better, absolutely keeping this car. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy seeing all these photos here that I'm sharing. I have a lot of plans. As soon as we have some freedom back in Ireland, I want to do a lot of track days. One of the first things I want to do is go on a road trip. I want to go to the Nürburgring so bad. So stick around. Thanks for watching this, and I will try to get more content as soon as I'm allowed to do so. And stay safe out there, guys.